if I equals P times R times T, and P equals $1,000, R equals 7%, and T equals 1, what does I equal? So it's basically just a substitution problem. So we're just going to rewrite the problem down here. P times R times T, and we want to know I. So I equals P is $1,000, tells us up here, $1,000 times R. The R is 7%. 7% as a decimal. So you can't just multiply out as 7%. You have to turn it into a decimal. To turn it into a decimal, you divide by 100. So 7% divided by 100 is 0.07, and times T is 1. So first thing we do is we need to get rid of this 1, because anything times 1 is 1. So we multiply 0.07 times 1 equals 0.07 times $1,000 equals I. For 1,000 times 0.07, you basically, if you multiply anything times 1,000, you can just move the decimal point. So for 1,000, say the decimal point is here. You have 1, 2, 3 decimal points to get back to 1. So if you're multiplying 0.07 times 1,000, you just move the decimal point 3 places. 1, 2, 3. You gotta put a 0 here for a placeholder. So I equals $70. The answer C. To give a little bit more explanation for, there's a couple of tricky things in this problem. The first thing is for a percentage. If you don't know how to turn a percentage into a decimal, you basically just divide it by 100. So for 7 divided by 100 would be, I don't know if this moving the decimal point is confusing for you guys, but see, 100, you basically have to get everything to be multiplying by 1. So that's how you equal the same number. You're equaling it out. So you're not changing anything, you're equaling it. So if you're dividing by 100, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Well, that's a little more complicated too. So basically all you need to know is you move the decimal place 2 places to the left to turn something into a percentage. So for the number 7, the decimal point is right behind it here. So if I move the decimal point 2 places, 1 place puts it in front of the number, that makes it 0.7, and then another decimal place. See, there's no other number here, so you have to put in a 0 as a placeholder. So that makes it 0.07. Get rid of this so it doesn't confuse you. So the decimal point went from being here to being here. So 7% equals 0.07. I'll do it with another number. Let's say we have 15%. Decimal point would be here. 15% as a decimal, you move it 1, 2 places. As a decimal, 15% would be 15. 25%, we should all know what, we'll do 50% because that's pretty common. 50% as a decimal, you move the decimal point 2 places, 1, 2. 50% equals 0.5. You see that? 75%, Move the decimal 2 places, 0.75. 100% discount. Decimal points here, you move it 3 places, or 2 places, sorry. 1, 2. 100% as a decimal is 1. And the other tricky thing was at the end here when we were multiplying by 1,000. Basically, when you have larger numbers that with a 1 in the front, all you have to do is look at the zeros, and that's how many places you would move the decimal point. So let's say I was multiplying by 10,000. 0.7 times 10,000. 0.07 times 10,000. I move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to put 2 more zeros. So that would be 700. If I was multiplying it times 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 0.07. Put it down here so I have a little more room. 0.07. I have to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. Put in all those zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0. So it would be 70,000. I hope that didn't confuse you guys, but gives you a little tip on how to do some of the more complicated stuff. And if it did help, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.